Hello, friends. Welcome to A Little Room for Healing, where we aim to create a little more room in the world for authentic connection, insightful healing, and a deeper understanding of our hearts, ourselves, and each other through honest conversation.
My name is Joel. I'm an energy healer based in Reiki and 13th Lahu Chi, and your host. My guest today is Tommy Stoffel. He is the co-author of Take the Wheel, an off-road monk's guide to quiet your mind and get back in the driver's seat of life. He is also a facilitator of mindful jeeping. The off-road monks will take you on a metaphorical journey into your inner wilderness to free your mind, navigate the unmarked roads ahead, venture deeper into the forest, and ultimately come out on the other side. They help you to discover life in what they call the green zone. We are fresh off the trail and ready to discuss what happened while we were jeeping. We touch on the importance of having a container. We talk about our two minds, the ego self and the intuitive self, and how mindful jeeping added new insights to my journey from victim mentality to owning my power. Come on in. And we are back from Zen Jeeping, where I was taken out into the trail, and we went through the process that you offer people. And you took me through the process, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I'd love to talk about it a little bit. We were out there for like 3 hours. It was hot. I'm a little tired. I might be stumbling my words a little bit, but we're just going to be okay with that. But let's talk about it. I would love to actually hear more of your experience of guiding it with me. And I definitely want to talk about my experience of being the one that was guided and taught. So let's do another quick round of check-ins, just because it's been so long and so much has happened. I'll go first again. I'm feeling tired, little drained. I'm drained from the good stuff that was moving today, and I'm also drained because it's been just a long day and I woke up really early. But I'm excited to talk about this, and yeah, that's my check-in.
All right, thanks. My check-in is I'm going to go back to my intention for the day. And initially I was like, I want to, have less doubt or something like that. But now you're focusing on what you don't want, and you're attracting that. So I changed my intention as we just started the activity today. Mm-hmm. And my intention for today is to get this concept of the green zone out into the public forum. That term becomes just standard lingo for people, because it's such a helpful concept to understand that you have this ability as a human who's thinking, that we're always overloaded, that we always have thoughts in our head, that we always have all this pressure and all these things to do and all these to-dos to do and lists to do. And really, we have to make time to have these green zone experiences in our life. And it's just fundamentally required to help us keep any sense of calm in the chaos, any sense of order, any sense of inner peace. That's what that green zone represents. And what you did today is you gave yourself the gift of giving yourself a green zone day. And there's a lot of energy that came out and was moving around too, and that can feel a little tiring at the end of it. But yeah. So the check-in is that I'm excited to have watched you go through this, to have been there with you, to have seen it from my perspective, because I see these events happening within people all the time, and it's an honor and a special privilege to be able to help people with this level of inner work. So my check-in is ready to go.
Excellent. Love it. A couple other, one other just acknowledgement for those that are watching the video and not just listening to it on audio is that we have changed locations. We started out in your headquarters of where where you live, and it's your office of all things Zen Jeep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to the park where we did the driving and the jeeping, and now we're at what you named the greenhouse, which is your retreat center house, and this is where we're landing for the second half of this. Can you actually? We talked about why we were going to do this. I would love to hear your words on that again.
Mm-hmm. So, just starting as people living on this planet, right? We have, we have beds to sleep in. We have a kitchen to eat food in, and to clean afterwards, and a living quarters to live in. Hopefully some sort of roof, whether it has wheels or not, over our head. And so we just started there as just two human beings. We had breakfast together, we had tea together, and then we had our conversation. Then we went out intentionally into nature, to this park. It is a state park, and California has specialized state parks that are just for off-roading. So we have one very close, and that's part of why we're here. And that was setting the stage intentionally of getting ourselves into what we talked about, into this green zone experience, where we're not thinking about too much, we're not worried about too much, we don't have a lot of, we quieted down the responsibilities and the noise and the stuff in our head, and we just gave ourselves the opportunity to just be present in this activity. And so we went through that activity. And now we're at a place that is here, and the intention for this place is to be a place where people can do really deep work. And I feel that after having a green zone experience like the Zen Jeeping, and then coming to a retreat center for a deeper level of healing, that we're more open for that healing, and we're more prepared. There's less anxiety, less fear coming into it. You're kind of coming in with a clear head, maybe an open heart, and I feel that then whatever ceremonies you do after that, in a place like this that is designed to be a sacred space. This is, this energy of this house is designed to feel like high vibration, peaceful vibration, love vibration, high vibration, almost like a temple is the vibe that we have here. And so it just kind of feels like a natural progression of, the human waking up, going out and exploring and having aha moments and realizations and openings, and then coming to a sacred place where that can just kind of soak in and absorb, and if there's further healing that happens, then that's the intent behind it.
Yeah. And it I love that. It feels like a nice place to land in here. It's spacious, it's quiet, it's decorated with things that are meant to calm and soothe and heal. And so glad we did this. And now let's talk about jeeping. Let's talk about Zen jeeping. Can I just share a little? I'm going to share a little bit first.
Please.
It's something that I probably would have hesitation of signing up for. Quite honestly, not I mean before, without knowing what happened, what it was about, and so, but going just because of the fear of the unknown of it, and I was still even feeling that hesitation, that fear, and the unknown, and what is this going to be about? Why? I knew it was going to be something. In me was like, it's going to be awesome and fun. Another part was, I gotta learn something. I gotta learn how to do it, and then and all that. So there's that battle going on. But we drove a Jeep from your place over there. So I was already in the Jeep, getting to know it a little bit in the 2-wheel drive, easy flow. And then we get in there, and you show me this. We get into the park. First things first, he takes me to this really steep hill, And we get out, and he gives me his opening spiel about like how it all starts. And then he says, at the end of the day, we're going to come back and go up that hill. And just to think, like, feel into what it feels like when you think about going up that hill right now in the place you are, and remember that feeling. And it's a pretty steep hill. Do you know the grade of that hill, by the way?
No, it's at least 40 degrees. It's a good steep hill.
Ugh.
That in a vehicle, you feel like you're just taking off the launch pad.
So you're already like, oh man, what is going to happen today? So that was the very first thing that happened. And yeah, do you have anything you want to add or say to that?
Yeah. The other thing that happened there was I first opened with what I open with every time we start a class like that. I said, look, we have nowhere to go today and all day to get there. So it helps people. Everyone's coming into this thing from a different place, and a lot of us are coming in from a rush, hurry, go job or lifestyle. So just to kind of take the pressure off of just being there in the first place, and just realizing that you've given yourself the gift of a do nothing day, of a free pass day, and that helps a lot of people just kind of come off the ledge, and then a lot of the anxieties and worries that they're feeling and thinking go away.
Yeah.
And then I remind people and reminded you to kind of feel and pay attention to what you're thinking and feeling. Because I'm intentionally taking you on a little bit of a roller coaster ride early on, just so people can kind of start to pay attention to their mind from a different perspective. They're not just in their mind and living life in their mind anymore. Then we now take them out and make them look at what they're saying and what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And that separation is a big step in our freeing ourselves from the clutches of a programmed ego mind. And there's probably better ways to explain that, but that sense of separation, for the first time in some people, they're looking at their thoughts now, and they're not their thoughts when they're looking at them. And that's a pretty powerful shift in perspective. And then to have yourself look at your thoughts and your feelings. When I point at that hill, and you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
No way. Again, giving you distance between the fear and your perspective of it. You're starting to become more of a witness to your mind and thoughts. And in the highest forms of spirituality or enlightenment, there's a concept of being the silent witness, of being the observer. And so we're kind of training you to kind of step out and be more of an observer of what goes on in here, instead of believing that you are what goes on in here. So there's all sorts of shenanigans going on.
Oh yeah,
intentionally.
Definitely. I knew it. I'm like, oh, here he goes. Here's another shenanigan from this guy. And one of the part about that for me personally in my journey today is you've never done this before, Joel. This is me talking to myself. You've never done this before, Joel. You don't know how to do it. And then this person's telling you that at the end of the day you're going to go up there. You're going to go up there and do it.
You have an option, is what I say. You're going to have the option.
Yeah. Okay. There's an option, everybody. There's an option. I'm telling myself I have to do it. There's an option to do it at the end of the day. And it just, as I was listening to you explain what was going on with you and what you were bringing to the table, I realized, because of something that happened later, that this is something that I work with on a daily, maybe not a daily basis, but quite frequently in my life, where there's something ahead of me that I haven't done, and that I want to do, and that I'm scared to do, and I hold off on doing because I don't know how to do it yet. And it feels like that big hill, and it feels like I'm going to flip if I go up that hill just from first looking at it. And then we went and brick by brick, we built the tools to go up that hill throughout the day. And it was about I feel like it was like halfway through the day. I did something. You led me through one of the paths, one of the trails, and then I said to you, I had this realization. I was like, oh my God, I'm building the tools here to do it. And I felt this confidence just surge through my body that was like not even thought about. It was just like, wow, I just literally learned step by step to learn how to use this Jeep, feel this Jeep, work this Jeep and maneuver this Jeep to go up something where some wheels were spinning out as I was going up it. But I kept a steady pedal and just kept going forward. And with the spinning wheels, I made it steadily and smoothly. And that's when it occurred to me that the Jeep is a metaphor for my body and my being. And if I take the time to learn myself and build the tools step by step, then that confidence is there to be able to do the things that I thought that I couldn't do.
Bravo.
Yeah.
In this morning's sessions, we talked something about this, and we said that we're setting up the conditions for people to have an aha moment, or a shower moment, or like a moment of realization. Mm-hmm. You had a pretty good moment of realization when you were crawling up that hill and the tires were slipping out, and you got to the top and you said, I feel this sense of like confidence in me. And because some we also talked this morning, and Brian, my Jeeping partner and author and book partner, Brian, often tells this story this way, that look, when we're taught to drive, we're taught to avoid obstacles. Our goal in life is to avoid obstacles, to go around obstacles. And here we're teaching ourselves to face an obstacle. And what you started with a few minutes ago was the avoidance of trouble in life, or the avoidance of challenges in life, because you never done it before. You don't have the confidence to do it. Well, you didn't have the confidence to drive that Jeep over anything this morning, but now you do. So it's that fast, and all you did was you did it. You drove it. You drove over obstacles. You drove over little ones first, then bigger ones, and then pretty soon you were freaking driving the sluice by yourself, full of like a boulder field of like, looks like a war zone that nobody can drive through. And you drove that by yourself.
Through it.
Yeah.
You just mentioned something else that was like actually the first thing that struck me in today was, I was like, oh man, I'm so used to avoiding bumps in the road that to change my mindset in this situation, to make the wheel go over that rock that seemingly you shouldn't drive over.
That obstacle.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, yeah.
And then
that was the first realization. That was the first tool. That was, besides learning like the ins and outs of the Jeep, that was the first tool. Is there's the obstacle, go drive over it. Let's go. And you're just like, okay, what's going to happen is we're going to get in the Jeep, and I'm going to drive first, and you're going to drive after me, and we're going to go over that bed of rocks right there.
Why not?
And I'm like bouncing all over the place in the cab. Lord, what the hell am I
doing? and I'm ahead of you, bouncing along, looking in the rearview mirror, going, he's got to be thinking, what the hell am I doing? And how is this going to help me? How is this going to do any good for me?
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful metaphor for that in life, the obstacles we face. And it's fear of the future, it's fear of the unknown that, locks a lot of us up. It makes us procrastinate, it makes us delay, it makes us, put things off till tomorrow, what we can do today. Well, because we're afraid it won't work, or we haven't done it before, we don't want to embarrass ourselves. It's, whatever, however those fears manifest themselves. And this little game of driving over rocks, just kind of wipes that clean, and it shows you how to face your fears. That obstacle's a fear. Well, we know, we've been taught we got to face them. What does that mean? Drive over it.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Get past it. And just that mental exercise, coming from your prefrontal cortex, you're not in a place of fight or flight, right? You're not solving problems from hypervigilance or fear mode anymore. You're just like in the present moment, in nature, in a safe place, in really cool vehicles, having fun and laughing, and you're just facing fears, one after another, after another, after another, and then you have a realization like, oh, if I can do this here, I can do this anywhere, and then your confidence is in there. It's just been buried and brick in the wall. It's been bound up in fears, anxieties, worries, whatever, right? And bam, halfway up that hill, you got in the flow. You had aha moments. You had a moment of clarity of like understanding what was happening and why you were happening, and the feeling you came. And you got to the top of the hill and you said, right now I'm feeling this overwhelming sense of confidence just running through my body. I'm like,
yeah.
And when I just smiled at you, I'm like,
yeah. And it was grounded confidence.
Grounded
like
confidence.
It was my body was so relaxed in the confidence. It wasn't like I was feeling confident and I was like, oh, and like, what do I do with this confidence? It was like, I have this confidence and I know what to fucking do with it. That's what it felt like.
And you had that experience. And that was real. That is real. Now you carry that into life with you.
This and even in that moment, I believe I remember saying this to you, or I mentioned something like this. Like, people go out and do this often, and that kind of thing, just driving over things, off-roading, and and I've never done it without you holding a container for it, but I imagine that those people have a feeling of confidence when they're doing it, and I'm wondering if they, without the mindfulness container that you're putting around what we did today, are experiencing what I experienced. I'm so curious about that.
The dogs all agree. The dogs are howling in unison. They're agreeing with whatever we're saying right now.
We got some dogs. Because the way you held the container for me was what I think was what helped me get realize that I knew what we were in here for, and I knew we set intentions and we had a container of mindfulness and Zen and get in your body and feel and so anyway, I don't know.
Plus you had an intention going in. What was it?
It was about my power, and I can't remember it exactly right now.
Did it have to do with your victim?
And my victimhood, yeah. Oh, something did. What was that? Something did move with that. I can't think of it. I can't find it right now. Maybe it'll come up as we talk.
When you came up that last part of that aha hill, your grounded confidence.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't see any victim in there at all.
Yeah. I think that's the experience of that realization I had yesterday, the mental realization that I had yesterday of, oh my God, if I'm in my power, there's no way I can be a victim. Vice versa, if I'm in my victimhood, there's no way I can be in my power. They just don't coincide. So I had now a somatic, visceral experience of being fully in my power, confident, and the victimhood was gone. Which, interestingly enough, feels like something that has happened, like I've done it before, but I've never been tuning in and aware of what exactly was happening. And now I've had the logic meet what we were talking about before, the head meet the body in that experience. So now I know what it feels like, that thought.
That's the somatic piece of this, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the body, mind, spirit complex kind of come into a similar realization all together. And sometimes the head comes first and then the body comes later. And but yeah, this and that was the intention you set. So I want us to all to understand and realize that setting an intention and doing a mindfulness practice where your head gets quiet, you're out in nature, and you're open and you're doing something to overcome maybe some of those old triggers or traps, and wonderful things like this happen. And that's the power of this green zone experience. And so we talked about that too, like not everybody can go jeeping, not everyone can do it, but it's important to find your own green zone practice. And
what's amazing is what's just coming to me now is this is happening right on I'm about to go drive out in my camper van that I'm at my home, into nature. And I remember when I first left Portland and was driving down to LA and I just moved in the van, I was like, and I wasn't in my body. I was really nervous about this and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, oh my God, did I mess up? Did I do the wrong thing by moving into this van? And then I went and like got grounded in LA. And now as I'm going back out to try it again, the wilderness in the van, I start with this experience. Such a perfect doorway into the trying it again with this whole new grounded and somatic experience of confidence. That's cool. That's cool. So one more thing happened. Not just one more. Other things happened, but I want to get to the very last thing we did. Not the very last thing. The second to last thing we did. What was it? The sluice. The sluice run. And this is a run that's on both sides. It's just lined with giant boulders that you can't drive over. And it feels really tight. So it's like the room for error feels really, like upon first seeing it and walking through it, feels really, really low room for error.
The word gauntlet.
Yes, it's a gauntlet. It was a gauntlet. And he walks me up and he says, tell me, like, now that we've gotten to where we are, we've done all these things, you got a real good feel, you have, seems like you have like an instinct for the line and where to put the wheels. Tell me what you see here. And I looked at it, and about a quarter of the way down, there were just these two rocks in the middle. And that was where I stopped. I said, those two feel like the first challenge. And I don't know what to do to get around it. And I was like, I don't feel like I can do this.
Mm-hmm. And so what do we do? You
went down quarter by quarter. And
even before that, though,
we walked it. We walked it. We walked it all the way through. Oh yeah, we got
closer to it. We looked at that. We looked at those big rocks.
Yeah.
And confirmed what you saw from the distance, that they were big rocks and they were in the way, and there wasn't an easy
in the way.
And there isn't an easy way. There isn't an easy way to go around them. So we have to get creative.
I'm glad that I could see that the rocks were in the way. Did have to get creative. Oh man, the lines that were there, like to really angle the Jeep on purpose at like
a pretty
steep angle
tilt
to be able to clear those rocks.
To get a tire up on one big rock to clear something else that could bash a door or
to put a tire up on one of the rocks that it's lining, one of those big boulders that I'm talking about that's lining the wow. Yeah, we walked the whole thing. And then you said that you would guide me through it, standing in front of the Jeep a ways, and then increment by increment, guide me to that point.
Yeah, guiding, spotting.
Yeah, spotting.
Is the term we use for
spotting.
Guiding. Yeah, it's like like other stuff in life, right? It's good to have a teacher to show you how to do it the first few times and guide you through it, and then you gain some confidence, and then you get to do it yourself.
Yeah, and we did that, and I went through. I went through and learned that the Jeep could go through that. And then you asked me if I wanted to try it by myself. And I was like, I have a lot of fear of doing it by myself. I guess I should do it. something along those lines.
So I have a lot of fear about doing it by myself, and I go, okay, be with that fear.
Yep.
I'll meet you at the beginning.
And then I drove
if you
around.
decide you want to do it or not, you can decide then.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the time you came around to the head of it again, something had changed. Whatever the fears were, you were ready to face them, or you were like, quiet fears, I'm going to give this a go.
Yeah.
It's not my Jeep anyhow. If I break it, so what?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
But that's not it. That's usually just the opposite. People are more afraid that they're in somebody else's vehicle. So it's not like, that was just a joke of like, I don't care. But most people don't. I don't care. Yeah, and then you lined up for it.
yeah.
And I took video of that.
Yeah.
Which I've never done before because I'm always spotting people.
Oh, wow.
And to be able to video you going through that was a sign of your
Wow.
awareness, your presence, your paying attention. You took all the skills you learned in the last 3 hours and you're just like poof, in it. And you took all those hard obstacles, like you picked your own line and it was great. Each one of those lines you picked was like, yep, that's what I would have spotted you. Yep, that's where I would have spotted you. And you just picked them all. So whatever fear you overcame and whatever focus you brought and attention you brought to that moment looked beautiful from a jeeping standpoint, from a rock crawling standpoint.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That's really cool to hear. And yeah, when I got through it and I pulled out, and then you gave me the fist bump and we celebrated, and then you walked away because you were going back to your Jeep and I was driving around. I had an emotional thing. Like, I'm feeling it right now. Like, it's like, why? Because I drove a Jeep over rocks? Yes, because I drove a Jeep over rocks that I thought I never could do ever in my lifetime. And I did it, and it's challenging, and I did it on my own, and it came out unscathed. Had one little bumper bang, but apparently that happens. And that's okay, is what I was assured.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I felt really proud of myself. I had a lot of pride.
Yeah.
A lot of really good, healthy pride after that.
Yeah. Inner confidence, inner strength. Inner like, yeah, I'm kind of badass. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I'm going to put those videos up on Instagram. By the way, everyone, if you want to check them out.
For sure.
Yeah. What a day.
What a day.
And then we went back to the hill.
Back to the beginning.
Then we went back to the hill.
Big scary hill in the beginning. And then I gave you the name of it. Then we call it Certification Hill. And that's just a little thing. Like Jeep has these trail rated badges on their vehicles. And instead of being trail rated, like the vehicle's trail rated, but now you are trail certified to drive that vehicle on trails all over the place. Yeah, so it's just like it's like, you know what? You did a good job today, and now look what you get to do. You want to take your family out to some remote, camping spot, or take your family out in the family Jeep to some, sacred fishing spot, or your brothers or your friends or something. You now have the skills just from what you did today to look at a map and any green trail in the state of California, easy peasy. Any blue trail, easy peasy.
Amazing.
Even on blue trails, you're not going to find big rocks like that. You get into the black trails, the more difficult trails, and you're going to find some of those sized rocks that you did on that sluice.
Is that sluice a black?
Yeah,
a black trail?
For sure.
Oh, wow.
For sure.
Whoa.
But you did it yourself. Yes. Right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I got this, I'm wearing my trail certified shirt that I got.
Yep. And on the back, I'll get up and show the back of it for the sake of the audience there.
Zen Jeeper.
Zen Jeepers. Little yin yang kind
cool.
of flow, getting the flow of life. And, kind of find the order in the chaos.
Yeah.
Lots of metaphors for this logo and what it means.
Like you saying that I'm trail certified for blue, green and blue
but I don't need to show anything to anybody. I just know now. I know in my body that I can do it. Is what Trail Certified is.
It's your inner, it's that
Amazing.
confidence.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I love that. Trail Certified. I want to say that. I want to when somebody gets through something challenging in life, I'm like, Trail Certified now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Right? Because that's all we're doing here. Like we're a couple guys out there playing in these Jeeps, and playing like kids and laughing like kids and high-fiving each other like kids. But there's a lot of inner work that goes on that went on today. And you'll have some aha moments a week from now.
Yeah.
You'll be doing something. You'll realize that you're doing it different because of what you experienced today.
Oof.
And so this is a pretty powerful.
It is
practice.
And who said healing can't be fun? It is the epitome of healing can be fun.
Right? It is that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was fun.
Yeah. There's another aspect of it too, like we say around here that guys won't go to therapy, but they'll go jeeping. Because us guys are kind of stubborn, and we don't want to be talking our lives out to somebody else. But this kind of practice, this kind of mindfulness practice, I've seen guys cure themselves of ADHD. I've seen guys cure themselves of depression. I've seen people cure themselves of some of these syndromes and symptoms and all these things that are basically chatter gone mad in our heads. Because you have an experience of a chatter-free moment, if not a chatter-free hour, if not a chatter-free day. And then once you have that experience, you might want it again. You might want to find your own way into your own green zone because you felt the power of it, and you felt the healing power of it, and you felt the changes in mindset, or the changes in confidence, or the changes in the victimization, or the changes in the trauma patterns that we have.
This right here, what you're saying, is why is the importance of your container around doing jeeping. Because this is what I was trying to point to before. Is you can do the jeeping without your container and have the confidence and have those moments, but you're helping people direct the awareness and feeling the shifts in the body when it happens, and that's the key is to have that container around this jeeping fun.
Connecting dots, we say.
Yeah.
Helping people understand what they're going through and what they expect to get out of it. And I'm cautious about expectations, so I don't tell people too much, but yeah, you set people up for success. You set them up for overcoming fears. You set them up for, vibrating at a higher frequency, leaving some heavy energy behind. And that's the container we set up, Brian likes to say we create an opening. And then usually based on the intention that the person comes in with, they'll get. We're not the ones giving you the answer, right? We're not the ones telling you what to do or how to do it.
Yeah.
We're just pretty good at setting up a container, setting up an environment for personal awareness, personal growth, personal development, self-improvement, whatever all the catchwords are. We all have the inner wisdom to heal ourselves. We all have an inner sage. We just kind of teach you how to get the mind out of the way for a day so you can hear it when it comes in with its, self-enlightening empowerment.
And when you do it, whether it be when you do something in a container with this kind of guidance of pay attention, it seems like you can do that with anything. Oh, let me try washing dishes in a container of pay attention to what's going on in my body. Let me mow the lawn in the container and to pay attention of what I'm feeling when I do this.
And if you think of really a Zen monk, a Zen monastery monk, that's their practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they sweep the floor, they're sweeping the floor. When they're carrying water, they're carrying water. So this is just a way to, break through the maniacal monkey mind.
Yeah.
To give yourself an opportunity to experience the truth of that practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to laugh and giggle along the way, and to have awesome pictures and videos of you posing on a
Yeah.
giant
Yeah.
boulder. Right?
Yeah. It's like it's like, oh, this is ridiculous, but it doesn't. It's ridiculous that I'm like posing with rock star hands with half my Jeep up on a boulder and the other like tilted, and like ridiculous. But it didn't feel ridiculous in the moment. I felt like, yeah, take a picture of me. I am amazing.
And that's not ego amazing, right? That's not your ego going, yeah, look at me. That's your your inner peace. That's your inner presence. That's your inner sage going, all right. All right. I'm in the driver's seat now.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Take the wheel.
Take the wheel.
Thank you for framing that. That's good. That's something that I've struggled with, is talking confidently about myself, and me feeling like it comes across as look at me, and I was even talking with my therapist about this. I was telling him about this earlier, I think over breakfast, that part of my marketing for myself as a healer, I feel like I struggle with, because I'm so nervous. I have a nervous energy of like, I'm going to be like, look at me, or something like that. Like the confidence isn't there. And then what you're saying is it's not a showy confidence. When I'm in my power, this is something that I was logically thinking, and you just helped me physically feel it. When I'm in my power, my therapist said, when you're in your power and you're marketing yourself, it'll just be natural, and it won't matter what you do, because you're confidently talking about who you are and what you're doing, and it's just you're grounded and you're centered in it, and there's no showy, there's no flash, there's just you. And you saying that, me posing in that Jeep half on a rock with my rock star hand, really was confidence from a centered place, even though it may have looked like it wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm processing this as I'm talking about it, so it's a little jumbly, but
it's making perfect sense.
Yeah.
And then the image that I just came to is sometimes, going back to the victimhood, right? Sometimes that happens because there's a dominant presence in your life, and you're kind of like, you're a victim to other people's dominance or their control. And this or this or whatever it was that came out was you snapping out from underneath that. And standing up on your own and going, here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is exactly what I've been in the last week and a half, just realizing how much power I've given other people, and how much I've just been calling myself a victim. And I'm only as much of a victim as I allow myself to be. And if I stop allowing myself to be a victim, then I will be the guy in the Jeep with rockstar hands.
Say that out loud, but let's reframe it a little bit, right?
After I said it, I was like, I could say it differently.
Yeah. I
could say it reverse.
You can say, I know what it feels like to stand in my power now.
Yeah.
And there is no victimhood in that.
Mm-hmm.
The victim's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I'm going to stick to some sort of practice to make sure that the victim never comes back. Right. I like this position of power.
Yeah.
And it's not power over. It's just power from within, and it's an energy, and it's a spiritual energy. It's a benevolent energy. It's a loving energy. It's a peaceful energy. And when people think peace was weak, like, yeah, you want weak peace? Come hang out with me for a bit. I'll show you some not weak peace.
Not weak peace.
There's some fucking power in this peace, right? There's power in what we did today.
Yeah.
There's power in your presence right now, and there's power in my presence right now.
There is.
There's no victim.
Yeah, even though
in this room right now.
Wow. You know what's wild is what's happening is like as I was talking when I was describing the victim, like I could feel it fighting to come back, and that's when you were like, let's reframe it, because it was fighting to come back. So like I'm in this like weird flux state of, and it reminded me of working with plant medicine, and this is what happens with plant medicine. You have these really intense, high experiences of you set an intention and then you meet this intention, and it's where you can be, it's where you can get, but you're not quite there yet. So when the medicine ends, you have to integrate the learning and the feeling of that, and in the integration you went back down to just above where you were, and you have to, in the integration, you're working to get back there in your day-to-day life without the medicine. So that's what happened. I just took medicine with you by jeeping. And I had this experience, and now I get to take that and integrate it and work myself way back to that in my day-to-day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the victim, you may hear it because that voice, the victim is just a voice. It's just chatter in the head is all it is. But it's been there for a long time. It's pretty well entrenched. It has roots and tentacles in a lot of parts of your mind and your belief system. But now you're going to see it coming. So if you go back to The Matrix, take the movie The Matrix, when the agent is first chasing Neo and starts shooting at him, Neo has enough presence and awareness to know what's happening, that there's danger coming at him, and he starts dodging it, right? The slow motion dodging of the bullets. Like that, you're going to see the victim coming. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. You caught it. You caught it a second after it slipped out, but you caught it. Now you know what it looks like and sounds like, and you know it's like not real and it's not for you anymore. So this is the integration.
Yes.
And it's not like you have to learn how to be confident. You don't have to learn how to love. You don't have to learn how to be present. You don't have to learn how to be spiritual. All those things you are. And it's just a matter of now discovering and finding these ego masks and facades and memories or mindsets or ideas or concepts or traumas, and now when they start to raise their head again, you're like, you know what, okay, we don't need to go down that path right now. So there comes a point, I'm going to say this as a belief of mine, and I'll say it out loud, and then you can feel whether this feels true or not.
Okay.
We are of two minds. I have this higher wisdom sense of myself that I can look at my consciousness, this presence that we're all born with, this life force energy that we're all born with. And over time, our society, quickly, before we're born even, we start getting programmed into a society that is divisive and separate, and I'm over here and you're over there. We're physically separate beings, and I have to, gain access to food and money and things for myself, and then I got to keep it to myself, and then you have all these fears and all these things. So that ego presence, that identification that we build in our society, is one of our minds. And some teachers call it the thinking mind. I call it the chatter mind. Some people call it the monkey mind. And I had this metaphor years back, like if you think of your body as an aircraft, and in the front of the aircraft there's the cockpit, and there's two seats. There's a pilot seat and a co-pilot seat, and the ego's in the co-pilot seat. It has to earn money and go to the store and buy food and cook and do things. It's got tasks to do. The co-pilot, the pilot, is the one who knows the big strategy. It kind of knows the flow of direction of life. It can feel the right way to go. It's the intuitive side of us. And somewhere in this society here on Earth, our co-pilots, just had a revolution and decided they didn't need the pilots and bonked them on the head and gagged them and bound them and tossed them in the back of the plane. And now they're up in the front of the plane doing everything, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's exhausting, and the ego mind can't keep up. Yellow zone, red zone, snap, lose it. So part of this game that we're in now is to start distinguishing between whether an idea or a concept is coming through our higher self, or whether our ego mind is making it up, right? And what do we pay attention to? First one we had an experience with today. He said, "I think," and I said, "How do you feel?" Because the feeling is where our intuition is. Now, our brain has gotten pretty good at thinking it knows how to feel, and it can create emotions and,
right.
and fears and stuff like that. But really, pay attention to what you think versus how you feel. Start making that distinction. You start being able to understand which one is your truth. And that's one kind of way to start distinguishing your intuition from your monkey mind. There's another one right there that'll come in a moment, but it has to do with distinguishing. Oh, so there comes a point in our, you're doing a lot of work. You're doing a lot of ceremonies for yourself. You're trying to get rid of that part of our mind that is not serving us, that's like self-diminishing or, beating ourselves up or worries all the time or has a lot of anxiety and brings a lot of stress and tension to the body. Whatever flavor of the chatter we all have it, and we all have it different. This is the part, roundabout way of asking. I feel, and this is experience in myself, that at some point in my life, my inner sage kind of got to 51% control of what was going on in here. And that was enough. Majority rules. At that point, it sees the victim coming, trying to rear up, trying to get attention, trying to worry us about something, trying to make up some story about some potential drama that, that's probably never going to happen. And at 51%, you can start catching it and saying, I hear you. I know you're still a large part of my thought process because you've been with me for a long time. Sit, stay. We're not going down that path right now. Worry loop, worry loop, worry loop, worry loop. Get off the worry loop. Do something else. And then eventually the worry, you're like, oh, there I am on it again. And then eventually you just don't get on it. And you stop those worry patterns that take up so much energy and so much time. So 51%, I feel, when our inner sage has its hand on the wheel, is enough. And you're still going to have weird decisions, bad feelings, fear, that because it may take a little bit of time. Plant medicine, I think, accelerates that shift.
And you're shifting a habit.
You're shifting a habit. It depends on how long you've had the habit. The ones you've had the longest are the last ones to let go.
Yeah.
Like, finish everything on your plate. You've been hearing that since you were 2. Well, I was overeating until about 2 years ago because I was finishing everything on my plate. It's like those ones that are entrenched the longest are usually the last to let go.
Yeah, this when you say that, it takes me back on the path that I've been on for a while now. Like, I started going to therapy 11 years ago and working with plant medicine like 8.5 years ago, and I can see the ones, like, when I got here to victimhood, when I saw it just the last couple of weeks, I was like, this feels like the big one. This feels like I don't know what's underneath it. There might be something else underneath it. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. All I know is this feels like the big one. And I had ones that I thought were big before this one. that I released. So when the ones that are in there the longest, these other ones had released, and it's like you have to go. I'm working my way down.
Working our way up, actually, to the bigger one.
Oh,
it's
another good reframe. Working your way up. It is. Can I say this real fast?
Yeah.
It is working your way up because as they release, you're getting bigger. you're lighter, more open, more connected,
vibrating at a higher frequency.
more
So you're letting go of the lower vibrations.
Yeah. So it is working up. You're right. Is that what you're going to say?
I did say it. and then you beautifully explained it.
Great.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, when you hit the big ones, in my experience, all the little ones below it go fast too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that rings true for me. I remember when I saw my attachment to my urethra situation and released that. As it was releasing, I could see all like its tendrils and how they were just like pulling back and unsnapping, like snapping free from all these other things that I was like attributing that I didn't even, some things I didn't even know it was in. And I was like, oh, and then I saw that completely differently, and I saw that completely differently, and I was like, that one over there, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know that it was in all those things.
Yes.
It's an amazing experience to feel that whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Like a domino. It's a domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful clearing experience. A beautiful activity in freedom.
Yeah. It's actually kind of, it started with the victimhood thing already. On my drive up here, I was like, oh my God, seeing things, because becoming aware of it and saying it out loud to yourself, or just saying to yourself, is the beginning of the detaching.
Yeah. And that you timed it such that you show up for this activity, you set the intention to really let that go. And then you had the experience you had. You had your aha moment of what it feels like to be victimless. Like you had the experience of it being gone.
Yeah. Yeah, in the framework of, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Focusing on the victim, focusing on the confidence in the victim, focusing on the whole thing, and then like, oh my God, it's not there. Yes, exactly. I see what you're saying.
You had a visceral experience of being victimless.
It's nice.
And now once you've had it, there may be little recurrences, there may be flashes, there may be, they're trying to come back and get a foothold again, but you're 51% in charge.
Sweet.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for the assist.
My pleasure.
Today.
This is what we do.
On the,
you're this too. You're here to help people too, and this is just the way to help. So yeah, Zen Jeeper.
On my shirt.
Right on. Wear it with pride. One thing that's come up a couple times is calling it power back, like power. I can either send you this, it's like a poem almost that this woman kind of sings, and the idea is to do it line by line and say it for yourself. Do you feel like we want to do that something that record now, or something that we can do at a different time? It's its own ceremony, and it's a pretty sincere ceremony, and you kind of have to prepare for it because you're going to have unforeseen changes in your relationships, straight up. So just saying that out loud, I feel maybe just mentioning it right now, maybe we can come back to it another time.
Let's see. I feel like it's not something that it's not a can I want to open on the podcast at this moment, because I feel like it'll take us another
I agree.
hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours.
We just talked about, regaining power, and there is another process that we can talk about next time we talk. How about that?
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. But I mean, I would love to have the. Can I take the poem with me?
Absolutely.
Great, fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
great. I mean, I guess it feels like it's wrapping here. Is there anything else that you would like to? That's coming up for you that wants to move.
Yeah, as I said, my intention is to have this green zone terminology kind of become normal for people to understand their psyche and their inner like stresses and their inner anxieties and worries, and know that it's something that they weren't born with, and that society and life kind of built up this red zone and yellow zone, and that there's ways to undo it. So the ways are in the book. The book is designed to logically kind of take apart some of your blocks, your chatter, and
Is it available? Now
yeah. It's online. It's on Amazon. Our audio version just came out last week.
Oh, great.
Barnes and Noble, Spotify. It's on there audio wise if you want to listen to it and not read it.
Yeah.
This is for you.
It's called "Take the Wheel" by Brian Bernard and Tommy Stoffel. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Tommy Stoffel.
And go ahead and read the subtitle since we were there today.
Take the Wheel, an off-road monk's guide to quiet your mind and get back in the driver's seat of life.
Pretty straight up.
Yeah.
And it's like a command. It's like, take the wheel. It's like, okay. We don't know what that means yet. But yeah, we're pretty proud of the way the book came out with the, you know.
Oh, you got the
We got the whole green, yellow, red on the side. And
Nice.
the title too, red, yellow, green.
That's great.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, really thoughtful. Put a lot of thought into it.
There's the Zen Jeep there posed out in the Mojave Desert with me just standing and just in a very peaceful, you just tell I'm quiet and peaceful out in nature. And there's a lot of we didn't make this stuff up. This is like ancient teachings passed down through high orders of spiritual organizations in India that never used to get out to anybody but the swamis who went through the training. So this is some kind of like top secret stuff that's deep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so people may get the book and get halfway through it and then go, it's like, it becomes it's a guide. It's intentionally a guide to be something you refer to and refer back to, and maybe read again and listen to it again. It's one of those books that you're going to get something different out of every time you crack it open.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's like so green zone stuff. I've been writing down for the last few weeks, like,
Oh, yeah.
what's so cool about the green zone? What benefits are there in the green zone? Well, we already talked about confidence, this degree of confidence that comes, when you're present and you're paying attention to something and you overcome obstacles. That's pretty cool. Think about your focus, your ability to focus your attention. So many of us are distracted, right? We get ADHD, we get distracted by this screen and this email and that phone. And just to spend, 4, 6, 7 hours in a mindfulness practice, it's going to rewire your brain neuroplasticity-wise. It's going to get you out of that distracted, bouncing around chatter brain, and it's going to be able to give you an experience of being able to focus your attention on something. And that pays huge dividends when you need to focus your attention on something. Like you need to get a new job, you need to decide if you're going to, do something with the house or a new business. You want to be able to focus your attention and not be pulled all over the place. So
Right.
green zone practices help you with that. Where you have a calm presence, like you and I are both exuding this calm, peaceful presence right now, because we've had that. That's what the green zone's about. Restoring trust. Trust is a big thing.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I don't think we touched on is I was learning trust in the vehicle I was in. I was learning trust in myself, and I was also learning trust in you because there were the times when you were spotting me. I was just watching you, and I wasn't like that's all I was. I was watching you and following your directions, and that's all I was doing. So that is like total trust in where you're taking me.
Yeah, and that restoring trust is a big, companies take their people out for, events, and they do, try to do trust building. Fall into my arms, and there's good ropes courses and stuff like that to build confidence and trust. This does that too. while you're giggling and laughing behind you. And feel into this, right? If you have the ability to focus your attention and you have the ability to stay calm and you have trust now in your ability to do things that maybe you didn't trust yourself to do before, and you have the confidence, if you add those things up, it's kind of like a recipe for success. Like that anything you put your mind and heart into, you're going to be successful in because you can focus on it. You know what decisions to make because you can trust your inner sage of like follow your intuition. Do I make this path or this path? Do I choose this option or that option? You'll feel the answer once you get beneath that chatter level. Something we said today, you go from we said it. We go from risk avoidance. Right? Sometimes we live life and we're like avoiding risk, like, oh, that's too scary. I'll go the other way. I don't understand this, so I'll do something else. You go from risk avoidance to dauntless action. You just like pick a line and drive it. See that rock and figure out how to get over it. So it's a whole mindset shift. And these are all bennies of this green zone experience and these green zone practices. Staying calm in the chaos. There's a lot of chaos in the world. You can keep your calm and your peace. You keep your green zone in the middle of that. They call that an advantage, right? You have an advantage over others if you can stay calm and everyone else is freaking out.
These are, by the way, these are all like the first like 2 or 3 were ones that we actually talked about today that I was saying out loud. And then these last 2 that you read are still ringing true as experiences I had today.
Self-empowerment, right? Independence, having a sense of independence, like I can go do things by myself without relying on somebody else or being afraid. So there's one other thing that this does that we'll get into in more. I'm building a business around it. Is that PTSD? I think everybody has PTSD on the planet. Some have it for real for some horrendous shit that they were made to see, and like our first responders, right, are always seeing things. So the PTSD levels, but we all have some degree of trauma in our lives, whether it's lots of little ones or some major ones. And what the neuroscientists and the psychiatrists have recently discovered is that the mind of somebody with severe PTSD, there's physical changes in the brain size. The amygdala actually gets bigger, enlarges. Now, I kind of, the muscle, the brain's, whatever it is, it's an organ, it's a muscle, whatever it is, but, I know if I work out my bicep long enough, it's going to get bigger. But I never really thought of the brain size enlarging, but it does. And the hippocampus, which is our emotional center, shrinks because you're not feeling, you don't want to feel things like, you shut off your feelings, your emotions. So that actually atrophies and shrinks. And then the prefrontal cortex isn't lit up on the charts because you're not working from the prefrontal cortex in the present moment, being aware of what's going on. Your awareness and consciousness isn't in the moment because you're in the fight or flight, past or future fear of ideas and beliefs and worries and anxieties, and all that chatter is not in the moment. That chatter is something about the future or something about the past. Even a split second in the past or the future, that's still chatter. So being able to sink in too, and what you also experienced coming up that hill, and at other times of the day, was a pretty quiet mind. And you probably had some chatter-free moments. And in those chatter-free moments, your inner sage is a lot. The ideas pop in, the inspirations pop in, the realizations pop in.
Yeah.
Only in that moment, only in this moment, and in the silence. So, so there's a video talking about PTSD, and they said they found one thing, discovered one thing that will reverse the effects of PTSD on a mind, where the amygdala will shrink back to normal size, the hippocampus will re-enlarge back to its shape and form, and the prefrontal cortex will be lit up. And they say mindfulness practices. And in the video they go, like yoga and meditation. The first time I saw that, I'm like, bam, baby. Yoga, meditation, and Zen jeeping.
Yeah.
So in the next week or so, one of my jeepers is a lieutenant in the LAPD. We've had his troops come up, put them in jeeps, and I've seen them come out of hypervigilant alert mode into calm presence awareness in the course of a day. And one of my jeepers was a 911 operator for most of her career, and she is now a therapist, and she specializes in PTSD therapy. And she and I are getting together with a group called Wounded Warriors, and we're going to talk to them about the jeeping and the mindfulness practice that it is, and start to bring up some people and start to help people get out of their PTSD.
Excellent.
We're calling it PTSD recovery.
Excellent.
So
That's so cool.
that's coming.
Thank you
Yeah,
for doing that.
you bet.
I can see how important it is as a modality, because it's the kind of thing that can reach people that, I think you were saying this before, that might not ordinarily, you were saying this about men. It reaches people who might not ordinarily look to things mindful because of the way it's been shaped in society.
Yeah, you got to go tell your all your life to a therapist.
Yeah.
There's time and space for that, but this is it's a medicine. It's like a plant medicine. It shows you a path of possibility, and then once you see that path of possibility, you decide if you want to work towards clearing that hurdle or overcome that obstacle.
Yeah. Amazing.
Thanks for listening to that.
Yeah.
Now I feel complete. Go Green Zone.
Go Green Zone. Let's Jeep. Go Green Zone. I want before I close. I want to just mention something about what I'm doing, what I've started doing recently, and that is, I've been every Tuesday now. I do an investigation, an exploration of a different emotion online. So I have some people come on, and we do like a meditation or exercise that calls in whatever emotion we're focusing on that day, and we feel where it is in our body. It's like a personal exploration that we're doing with community, and we feel it in our body, and we talk about our experience with it, and we listen to other people's experience with it, and we just kind of try to understand and like somatically even feel it, so we can expand our relationship to each emotion. So I say that to invite all you listening, if you want to do it, check it out. You can go to alittleroomforhealing.com events page and register for it. It's every Tuesday at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. So I'd love to have you join for that. And so a lot of good offerings today. Take the Wheel, Zen Jeeping, and what I call a little room, where we make a little room for an emotion. And Tommy, so grateful for this day, this experience, this conversation, this connection. And I look forward to more of it with you. I'm grateful for all you shared and all you've been here with. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for showing up, tapping in, and playing hard today, right? Playing this game and overcoming whatever anxieties, worries, and fears that can stop you on the way. You just overcame them all. You showed up, and here we are talking about the glory and the fun of this day.
Yeah.
And you and I, came into this morning with a bond that a lot of people don't have, and so I really want to just let you know how much I honor our friendship, and this is not the last time we're going to talk, right? We have work to do together, I feel, and this is maybe just the start of it.
Well, that just a nice spike of energy through my body, chills, goosebumps, beautiful, agreed.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Let's go have dinner.
Oh, let's do it. We're going to go have dinner. To all of you, I invite you all to make a little room for healing in your lives, and I will see you next time.
Thanks for making a little room for my podcast. I'd love to be a part of your journey too. Follow me on Instagram at A Little Room for Healing for news, updates, offerings, and connection.
If you'd like to learn more about Off-Road Monks and find your chatter score online, go to offroadmonks.com.
Have a beautiful day.